I sent him nudes from a burner account, and he forwarded them to his wife. Not his ex. Not some girl he was secretly seeing. Not even his own damn email for a personal stash. To his wife. And the worst part, I didn't even know she existed. It didn't start with a grand betrayal or some epic red flag. It started with a spoon. A spoon that wasn't mine. One of those chunky silver ones you get in Target wedding sets. I found it in my kitchen sink while I was rinsing out a smoothie glass. It looked out of place, too polished, too married. I stared at it like it had walked into my life on purpose. That was week 7 of dating Theo. He was tall in a way that felt cinematic. He wore sweaters that smelled like bookshops and had a laugh that hit me like a familiar song. We met at a pop-up film screening in the park. He complimented my thrifted denim jacket, and I pretended I didn't hear him the first time so he'd have to repeat it. I liked that he talked slow, like every word mattered. And for the first 2 months, he made me feel like every one of my words mattered too. He'd text me good morning before I opened my eyes. He learned how I liked my coffee, 1 sugar, almond milk, lukewarm, because your tongue is always impatient. He remembered the exact brand of lip balm I used and bought 3 for my car, purse, and nightstand, just in case. He was charming, and so present. Until he was. Around month 3, the slow fade began. His texts came later. He forgot plans and blamed work. He stopped staying over, then stopped letting me stay over at his. But I excused it all because I'd already convinced myself he was different, mature, not the ghosting type, a man with stress and schedules, not secrets. That's what I thought until the birthday thing. He didn't show. No text. No flowers. No rain check. Just a voicemail the next morning. Hey babe, I'm so sorry, got called into an emergency client thing. I'll make it up to you this weekend. Promise. I let it slide. But the thing is, he left his Netflix logged in on my TV that weekend. And someone had watched the parent test at exactly 7:13 p.m. on my birthday. While I sat on my couch in full makeup, a silk dress, and a bottle of Pinot Noir, I ended up drinking with my upstairs neighbor who had no idea she was doing emotional triage. I didn't confront him because I didn't want to lie. I wanted proof. Something solid. Something that didn't give him room to gaslight me with the classic, "You're overthinking," or "You're just being insecure." So I built the burner. It wasn't even elaborate at first. Just a Gmail account. A new IG with a couple of reshared memes, a profile pic stolen from an old hair tutorial YouTube channel, and a handle that sounded vaguely like a fake cam girl. At Red Velvet. Scarlet. I followed Theo. He followed back in under 10 minutes. By hour 3, he'd liked 6 of my posts. By hour 7, he DM'd me. "You've got dangerous eyes." My stomach dropped. I'd used a stock photo. A woman with brown eyes and black hair. Not blonde like me. Not green-eyed. Not someone he should have recognized. But he didn't. Because he never really looked at me. The burner said, "You're the dangerous one, sliding into strangers' DMs while your girl's probably in the other room." He replied with, "Who said I've got a girl?" There it was. Confirmation. No more guessing. No more waiting for him to admit what he wouldn't even say out loud. I should have walked away. Should have blocked, deleted, cut my losses. But I didn't want justice. I wanted him to bleed. Not physically, emotionally. I wanted him squirming in the same uncertainty I'd been choking on for weeks. I wanted him to ache for someone who'd never truly existed, to lust after a version of me he couldn't touch, so that when he found out, he'd realize I had always been more than enough, and he'd thrown it away for a fantasy I'd fed him from my second email. So I started playing. I flirted. I teased. I turned myself into everything he wanted. Witty, mysterious, just enough attitude to keep him on edge, but soft enough to lure him in. And when I knew he was all the way hooked, I sent the first photo. Me. But not me. Long black wig. Heavy eye makeup. Red lips. One shoulder exposed. Low lighting. Necklace he hadn't seen before. The message. Does this count as dangerous? He replied in 2 minutes. I need more. And just like that, I became his mistress without ever leaving my apartment. I sent 2 more over the next 3 days. Each one more revealing. More intimate. More confident than I'd ever been with him as me. Then I waited. Waited for the guilt. Waited for him to crack. Waited for anything that resembled I miss you or I feel bad. Instead, he forwarded the photo. Not to himself. Not to his buddy. But to a contact labeled Melissa H. With the message. Told you I could still pull them. This one's my new toy. I sat there, staring at the screen, blinking like I was watching someone else's nightmare. Melissa had a public profile. Her last name was his. And on her page, photos of a beach wedding. Honeymoon shots in Maui. A caption that read, married to my best friend, 4 years down, forever to go. And there I was. His new toy. Naked. Packaged. Delivered straight to his wife's inbox. I didn't sleep that night. Not even a nap or a disassociative scroll through TikTok. I lay in bed with my phone glowing like a radioactive pill in my hand, screen burning the inside of my skull. I kept rereading that message like it would change if I looked hard enough. Told you I could still pull them. This one's my new toy. The phrasing made my throat close. Still pull them. Like I was a fucking magic trick. Like I was his comeback tour. I wasn't even a person in that sentence. I was a prop. But who the hell was Melissa H? I started digging. Facebook. LinkedIn. Voter registration sites. Pinterest boards. People don't realize how much of their lives they leave breadcrumbed across the internet, like birds won't eat it. I found her in under 30 minutes. Melissa Harper. 34. HR coordinator for a private dental clinic. Loves succulents, mild salsa, and theme park vacations. Apparently has a standing Halloween tradition of dressing up as Disney villains with her husband, who just so happened to be my boyfriend. Her wedding registry was still online. Their anniversary was 6 weeks away. I felt like I was choking on cake made of glass. Their whole life was a Pinterest board of pastel lies. Meanwhile, I was sitting on my IKEA couch in a holey sweatshirt, scrolling through a marriage I had no idea I'd been sleeping next to. My brain split into 2 people that night. One of me wanted to scream, to send every screenshot to Melissa in one rage-filled info dump and watch the detonation unfold. The other, she wanted to be smarter than that. Not louder. Sharper. Surgical. So I waited. For 3 days, I said nothing. Theo kept messaging the burner account. Kept calling me dangerous, hot, his new addiction. He begged for more pics. I sent one. Not a nude this time. Just me, back to the mirror, the black wig framing my face, a message scrawled in lipstick on the glass. What would your wife say? He didn't reply. 10 minutes. 20. An hour. Then. Blocked. I laughed. The kind of laugh that tastes bitter and sounds too loud in a quiet room. Because now he knew. Or maybe he suspected. And that was the most satisfying part. That he was spiraling now. But I wasn't done. Oh no. Because as much as I hated him, I hated what I had become with him even more. Quiet, accommodating, play it cool, chill girl who never asked why she couldn't come over or why his socks had initials that weren't his. So I decided that, if he wanted to treat me like a fantasy, I'd become his nightmare. I went to CVS. Bought matte cardstock. Soft pink envelopes. Stamps with little doves on them, because why not? Then I printed the photo. That photo. The one in the wig. The one he forwarded. The one that turned me into a nameless body. And on the back I wrote, "Thanks for passing me along. The next batch will be even hotter. Zoe the toy." I looked up Melissa's address in property tax records. They owned a home. Colonial-style brick. 2 stories. A mailbox with a flower bed. So perfect it made my teeth hurt. I mailed it. Not anonymously. But not with my real name either. I used the name he called the burner account, Scarlet. Scarlet. Like I was a femme fatale in a Netflix limited series. Only this wasn't TV. This was my actual rage. Laminated in sarcasm. Sealed with a kiss. After I dropped it in the blue USPS box, I felt something unfamiliar. Not peace. Not pride. Just breath. Like I'd been holding my lungs hostage and didn't realize it until that envelope left my fingers. But I also knew it wasn't over. Theo wasn't going to let it go quietly. Men like him's never do. It hit social media before it hit the mailbox. At first, I thought maybe she hadn't gotten it yet. Maybe she'd throw it out without opening. Maybe she'd scream, cry, toss her phone in the toilet, and never speak of it again. But Melissa, she was built different. Because 2 days later, I saw the post. Instagram. A burner account she'd clearly made just for this. At Mrs. Untoyed. No bio. Profile pic, blank. First post, a screenshot of Theo's forwarded message. The one that read, "Told you I could still pull them. This one's my new toy." Her caption, "Meet my husband, folks. CEO by day, creep by DM. If this is your body, hi, I got your postcard. And I think we should talk." I stared at my phone like it had grown teeth. Because that wasn't rage. That wasn't revenge. That was an invitation. To what, I had no idea. The account took off fast. Screenshots made it to Twitter. Some influencer with 300K followers retweeted it with, "Men will cheat with your clone and still brag like they invented fire." Reddit caught it by morning. Some guy made a thread in our female dating strategy titled, "When your husband forwards your clone's nudes, 2024 edition." And suddenly, I wasn't the one hunting anymore. I was exposed. No one knew it was me, yet. But I could feel the internet's teeth at the edge of my skin. And Theo. He must have felt the storm coming, too. Because I got a message request on my real Instagram. From him. It said, "This is getting out of hand. I know it was you. You've gone too far." Then another. "You're unstable. I'll press charges." Then a third. "My lawyer is drafting something. You should be very careful right now." I laughed. Out loud. Sitting cross-legged on my kitchen floor, still in pajama pants, spooning peanut butter straight from the jar like a woman halfway between a meltdown and a TED Talk. Careful. The man who played 2 women like chess pieces, who collected naked photos of me and tossed them across the screen like poker chips. He wanted to talk about careful. Please. But still, my hands were sweating. Because he wasn't just a liar. He was a rich liar. A connected one. The kind who has a lawyer on retainer for messy exes. The kind who tells women they're too emotional while quietly setting them up to take the fall. I started getting paranoid. I scrubbed my burner account. Deleted the photos from my phone. Wiped my browser history. Turned off iCloud backup. It wasn't just Theo I was scared of. It was the narrative. Because if this went public, he'd twist it fast. Crazy girl stalked me. Sent nudes, then got obsessed. My wife and I are victims of this unstable stranger. And all he had to do was cry harassment once, and the system would listen. It always does. That night, I got an email. Not from him. From Melissa. The subject line: "You're braver than me." I stared at it for a solid 5 minutes before opening it. "I got your card." I wasn't shocked, just sad. "You didn't know about me, I can see that now. I don't want to drag you into our mess more than I already have. But I needed you to know something. You're not the first. You're just the first who sent something back." I reread it over and over. I didn't cry. Not because I wasn't hurt, but because someone finally saw me. Not the nudes. Not the burner girls. Not the fantasy. Me. I replied, "I'm sorry. Not for what I sent, he earned that. But for being part of the lie, even unknowingly." She wrote back, "We both were." And that was it. 2 women, tied together by a man who treated truth like an optional add-on. Finally talking like the war had ended and no one had won. Except maybe truth. And yet, I still couldn't sleep. Because Theo wasn't done. Not even close. The police didn't come with sirens. They came with paperwork. A plain white envelope slid through the door slot like a pizza flyer. Inside, an official notice that I was the subject of a report related to electronic harassment and potential distribution of sensitive content. No arrest. No charges. Just a warning. A fluorescent yellow slip stapled to a form that said, "You may be contacted for questioning." My first thought: so this is what it feels like to be a problem. Not a person. Not a victim. Not even a villain. Just a problem in a filing cabinet. I stared at the paper like it might rewrite itself if I blinked hard enough. Then I sat down, and for the first time since this entire thing started, I sobbed. Ugly, shaking sobs. The kind that make your throat raw and your skin feel too tight. Because it didn't matter that I was the one who got tricked. Didn't matter that I was catfished by the man I thought I loved, while he was married to someone else. All that mattered now was that I had receipts. And I used them. The rules were simple. If a man hurts you quietly, keep it quiet. If you go loud, you're crazy, you're bitter, you're unstable. And here I was screaming. I texted my one friend who knew everything. He filed a report. She responded, "Are you okay?" I didn't even know what that meant anymore. Was I okay? What the hell is okay after you find out you were the other woman in your own relationship? What's okay after you weaponize your own body to catch a cheater and become the one they threaten with lawyers? I put my phone down and walked to the mirror. I looked at myself for a long time. Not for bruises. Not for signs of madness. Just for evidence that I was still in there somewhere. I hadn't put on makeup in a week. Hadn't changed out of the same 2 sweatshirts. My eyes looked like they'd stopped blinking altogether. Was this what it looked like to win? Because if so, it felt like shit. The world didn't know my name. Not yet. But I knew it was only a matter of time before someone figured out who sent the postcard. All it would take was one slip. One old email tied to the burner. One security camera at the post office. I wasn't built for scandal. I wasn't famous. I didn't have a PR team or a crisis plan. I had therapy bills, an almost maxed out credit card, and an inbox full of anxiety. Melissa emailed again. He's denying it, by the way, says the nudes were from an ex. Says I'm just trying to ruin him because we're separating. Of course he was. Of course. Men like Theo don't confess. They deflect. They deny. They turn consequences into coordinated attacks. And women. We get to be crazy. Every damn time. I asked her, "Do you believe him?" She replied, "No." But I hate that I had to ask myself that. That hit me harder than I expected. Because that's what he did to both of us. He didn't just lie. He made us lie to ourselves. Made us question what we already knew, because his voice sounded more confident than our guts. And I hated him for it. But I also hated myself a little. For letting him in. For letting it matter. For not walking away when the first red flag waved itself like a damn parade float. I drafted a statement. A just in case. I wrote out everything. Timeline. Screenshots. Proof of the burner. Logs from my VPN. The USPS receipt for the postcard. I made a folder on my desktop called "If It Goes to Hell." And then I closed my laptop. I opened my freezer. Took out the ice cream. Sat on the kitchen floor with a spoon and decided, if this ends with handcuffs or headlines, at least I'll be wearing mascara this time. I didn't get arrested. I didn't get sued. No breaking news alert popped up with my name sandwiched between revenge porn and scorned lover. In the end, it all just faded. Not like a happy ending. More like a stain you never quite scrub out, but eventually stop noticing. Theo stopped posting online. His wife, ex-wife now, I think, deleted her burner account after one final message to me. "We're getting divorced. I'm not doing it because of you. I'm doing it because I realized I don't want to be the kind of woman who forgives a man like him. Thank you for the postcard." It was the truth, even if it was brutal. And just like that, she was gone. She ghosted the town, deleted every trace of him from her socials, and moved, someone said, to Arizona. A dry, cactus-lined, no-nonsense kind of place. Honestly, fitting. Theo, I heard, is rebranding. Something about tech consulting or coaching emotional intelligence to startup bros. I stopped checking. Because the truth is, I was tired of watching the man who shattered me rebuild himself on the rubble. I got a new job. Smaller team, fewer Slack messages. Nobody there knew the scandal version of me. Nobody asked questions when I said I didn't like talking about my personal life. And I started dating again, sort of. Not seriously. Just coffee dates and slow walks, and one guy who asked what kind of dog I'd be if I could choose. I said greyhound, fast, nervous, and always cold. But part of me still doesn't trust mirrors. Still flinches when I hear the word burner. Still wonders if Melissa keeps a folder on me too. I haven't deleted the photos. Not out of sentiment. Out of principle. Because for once, I own the whole mess. The rage. The petty. The cold, calculating, lipstick-scrawling version of me that sent that postcard and said, "I see what you did. And I'm not going to let you bury me under your bullshit." Was it righteous? I don't know. Was it revenge? Yeah. But it was also release. He built a fantasy. I turned it into a funhouse mirror and made him look. I sometimes wonder how many other women have done what I did. Faked a name. Put on a wig. Tested the man they loved and prayed they were wrong. And I wonder how many of them sent the proof back. Most days I don't feel proud. I don't feel ashamed either. I feel quiet. Not like surrender. Like detachment. Like I finally unplugged the part of me that kept checking if I was too much or not enough for someone else's loyalty. I'm not healed, but I'm unhooked. From him. From the performance. From the shame. Looking back now, maybe I should have said less. Or maybe I finally said enough. Subscribe to my Mia's Stories YouTube channel for raw, emotional stories and authentic insights that encourage healing, growth, and understanding. Don't forget to be part of a supportive space where stories inspire and lessons resonate. What do you think about this story? Let us know in the comments. Your opinion truly matters to us, and we're here for you.